The lesson plan that I have come up with was to how to integrate reading with technology. The teacher that I chose was Mrs. Arnold, and her problem was getting students to love reading and enjoy reading time. The grade that this was meant for was 5th grade because that's what grade Miss Arnold teaches, and this age also requires lessons that are eye-catching and interesting. The first technology tool that I found was Epic. It's a great website that has tons of books for every grade level, and one of the best things about this website is that the teacher can keep track of how many books each student has read and the entire class as a whole. Epic is a great way for students to learn how to love reading because it's online and it can read out loud to them. Another awesome thing about this website is that you can use it on any device because it's an app, and then you can use it on desktops, laps, and iPhones. It's super easy to sign up for, it's free, and you can create a class on here, and then the students can just look at any of the books. There's so many books to choose from on many topics. The next tool that I found was Kahoot. It's a great way to grab the students' attention and by bringing reading into the classroom, and it's fun and interesting. Basically, you set up Kahoot as like a quiz, and the students can play from different devices, and it's free to sign up. And there are multiple quizzes that are already made on Kahoot, but you can also make your own. And this is kind of what it looks like. The third tool that I found was Doggo News. Doggo News is one of the best websites for young readers. This is a site that has news about current events for students, and the students can find articles about many events such as science, world, social studies, and more. It's really easy to use and will help students become interested in reading by learning about things that are actually happening in the world. And this is kind of what it looks like. So the lesson plan that I came up with is that before the lesson even starts, there are some things that the teacher has to do, which is create an Epic account and set up the account for each student. By selecting a book that the class should read as a whole, and preferably during the week and about some type of current event. Then the students will be assigned to read a couple of chapters of that book, and then on some days the teacher will read a couple of the chapters out of the book to the class. And this will help the students have their own reading time and have out loud reading. Reading out loud is something that many students love because they can take a break from learning visually and learn orally. While she reads, it is a good idea to stop after each chapter and ask key questions to see who is paying attention and keep them interested. When reading out loud, it is also important to stress plot, character, the rising action, and so on. This is a grade where they should be knowing how to identify these in books. One of the best perks of Epic is that on some of the books it will read out loud to them. During their reading time, they can choose to listen or read it by themselves. Epic is also an app, therefore the student can read at home online. Assign the students an article to read that relates to the topic of the book on Doggo News, or even read it out loud. Have them get into small groups and discuss the issue. Have them write a compare and contrast between the two different readings, and then have them share out loud and have an open class discussion where they can ask the teacher questions about the current event. Now that the teacher has taught the students with different tools and has read a book together, assigned chapters to read alone, and read the article, it's time for the class to go over everything that they have learned. So how should we assess their knowledge? There are so many ways to assess the students during this lesson plan besides using a test. Each of the websites provided has assessments within themselves. But one of the tools that I chose was Kahoot, and this is where it will come in handy. The teacher can either search or create their own Kahoot over this topic of the book and have key questions from the book. Make sure to add in questions about the plot of the book. After creating Kahoot, have the students get on Chromebooks, iPads, etc., or whatever that they have handy in the classroom. All they need is the game code and you'll be able to see the results at the end. Kahoot can also be made by the students. Have them make their own or get into small groups and quiz each other about the book or news article. See what kind of questions they come up with. Another thing about Epic and Doggo News as well is that they will both have their own little quizzes to see how much you paid attention during the reading. The teacher can also see these results. These are just some of the curriculum alignments that I found with this lesson plan that goes with 5th grade. And that is the lesson plan